The death toll in another part of the country. This is the shooting at the Glebelands Hostel down in Umlazi. Yesterday it was 7. One more person has passed away. It's now taken it to 8. Police are investigating the motive behind the killings. We all know the hostel is infamous for violence and for being a haven for hitmen. Let's hear from reporter Lethiwe Mdluli, who's been following that story, joining us from KZN this afternoon. Lethiwe, so you're in Umlazi at the moment. What else have you heard about the shooting?
Well, Gareth, we spoke to the police a bit earlier on, and investigations are ongoing, and the police have confirmed that it was 3 gunmen that entered a room on Saturday morning and killed those 8 people. But I also had a chance to speak to a resident who spoke to us and just basically about the recent shooting and how residents are doing following this mass shooting. Of course, they are fearful, and they are saying that maybe this is an indication of a resurgence of violence in that hostel. You'd remember that between the years of 2012 and 2016, there were hundreds of killings at that hostel where government had to intervene. We saw the national police minister at the time trying to get a grasp into those murders. As you correctly said, that hostel was and still is a haven for hitmen, and a lot of police officials have been trying to solve a lot of murders that take place in the hostel. But since 2016, it's been fairly quiet, and just this year the 8 men that ran terror at that hostel were sentenced at the Pietermaritzburg High Court, and we saw them, most of them, getting life sentences, and they will be behind bars for a really long time. And the residents, when we spoke to them after those 8 hitmen were sentenced, they did say that they felt a bit safe. A lot of them were saying that those men were in charge of running terror at the hostel. But now what we're hearing from the ground, and also the residents as well, is that there's been a bit of violence here and there where there's a shooting reported in one of the blocks, but it's not something that is caught the eye of the authorities. Also, the residents themselves are saying that they think it might be just a random act of crime, but with this recent one, they are saying that they are fearful that the violence might erupt once again, and they are hoping that this is not the case, and they are making an appeal to the authorities to try and help them out like they did the last time. You'd remember that there was a task team that was formed back in the day that was specifically looking into the killings that were taking place at the hostel. They did uncover that the violence was because of the 2 gangs that wanted to take control of the hostel at the time. But right now, with this recent shooting, we still don't know what the motive is, and the police are investigating, like I said, but residents are just making an appeal to the authorities and also the eNCA municipality, because they are saying that if the municipality was aware of each and every person that lived at the hostel, they think that they might be able to investigate these kinds of crimes more faster, and they will be able to get the people that are in charge of the violence at that hostel more quicker. Right now, they are saying that the municipality does not communicate with them. They are not aware of the people that are living at the hostel, whether they are criminals or not. So they want the municipality to pay more attention to the hostel. They're also appealing to the authorities as well to investigate thorough and find out why these people were killed. But I did speak to a resident a bit earlier on who wanted to remain anonymous because, of course, they are fearing for their lives. But he did share quite a bit about the violence and how they are feeling following this recent shooting, and this is what he had to say.
From there, uma kwenzeka kanje asazi ukuthi kuzokwenzekani, nanokuthi ever since kwakulwa inhlangothi ezithize, mhlawumbe bangacabanga ukuthi lunye uhlangothi olihlaseleyo abantu abacabanga ngendlela abacabanga ngayo khona okwamanje thina sikomiti asikakaboni kanjalo ukuthi kuyinto ehlanganisana lampi yayikhona.
All right, so let's take a quick look then at what the SAPS are saying as well. Let's see where, apart from you having spoken to that resident who didn't want to go on camera, of course, everyone obviously very interested to hear what the SAPS have to say about this. And I understand you spoke to Jay Naiker as well.
Of course, Gareth, I spoke to the KZN's police spokesperson about their investigations and whether anyone has been arrested following the mass murder that took place last night. And they are saying that they're investigating, and a task team has been formed to look into this recent mass shooting. He did confirm that there were 12 people in the room when the shooting took place, including the person who is in charge of that room. And they have gotten more information from some of the witnesses. They are saying that it was 3 gunmen that entered the room and then shot everyone in that room. Fortunately enough, there were survivors, but as you said, another person has succumbed to their injuries in hospital today. So now the death toll is at 8, and they are saying that for now 2 more people remain in hospital, including also the owner of the room. But of course the motive is still unknown, and they are appealing to everyone who might have information regarding the 3 gunmen that entered that room yesterday. And they are saying that they will be kept anonymous, of course, and they will be protected, promising them that they will be looked after. They just need information so that these investigations can wrap up, and they will be, or they can arrest some of the perpetrators. In speaking to Jay Naka a bit earlier on, this is the information he shared with us.
The Provincial Task Team is investigating this matter. Unfortunately, at this stage, from the interviews, the motive is not coming out. It's still not clear what could have caused that. But we know the history of KZN, and sometimes it's just a minor disagreement that can lead to something like this, where innocent bystanders can also be killed. So it's very possible that one of them in the room was the target, and it's just that they were in the wrong place, the others were in the wrong place at the wrong time, and they all died. And also we established from the witnesses and the survivors that there were 3 gunmen, and they were using 9mm firearms. From what we can tell, like you know, KZN is known for these multiple murders where, you know, a minor disagreement or squabble can lead to people being killed in numbers. And at this stage, we don't think it's a resurgence of violence as such at Glebelands. Glebelands, like any other part of the province, is also prone to murders, so you will have murders occasionally occurring at the hostel, not in large numbers like this, but they do occur. So at this stage, we don't think it's a resurgence of violence, but we are appealing to people that may have information to please come forward and assist us. They can remain anonymous, like we know they are normally intimidated when there's violence. They can remain anonymous.
So as I say goodbye to you then, Lethiwe, give me a sense of what Umlazi is going to look like going into Sunday evening and for the rest of the week. Have you seen more police on the ground since this has happened, or is it just the investigation and police and security officials have moved on, or is there more people on the ground from the police?
You know, Gareth, earlier on we did go to Glebelands when we were interviewing the resident, and what I saw was just people going about their daily lives. We did not see any increase in police vans or policemen walking around, but the residents did share that they will be having a meeting with the police in Umlazi just to have a discussion regarding this recent violence at the hostel, and they are going to be making an appeal to the police there that there needs to be more police officers on the ground. And they are also saying that there is a satellite police station at the hostel, but they obviously want more police to be stationed at the hostel just so that there can be someone who's watching over the residents. And they did speak about the increase in crime at the hostel more recently, and of course we are in winter, so a lot of people are fearful because it gets dark very early. They are saying that there's a lot of crime taking place at the hostel, where there is hijackings and also just people getting mugged. So they are asking for more police visibility at the hostel. But when we went there earlier on, like I said, we did not see an increase in police visibility or people looking as if they're fearful. I think it's because people are so used to these kind of news taking place in KwaZulu-Natal just as a province. As the police minister said yesterday, mass shootings are something that take place each and every day here in KwaZulu-Natal. So people are getting used to the violence, which is not something good. And of course, in Glebelands specifically, that hostel is known for the violence. Like I said, between 2012 and 2016, hundreds of people were killed, and most of the residents that are still living there are people that were living there during that time. So they did not seem as if they were shaken by what was happening, but they are asking for more police visibility at the hostel.
Yeah, it's almost sad in its own, isn't it, that the residents of Umlazi and the residents at the hostel are not even shaken anymore by these kinds of incidents. That's a story all on its own. Lethiwe Mdluli, thank you very much, and he will come back to you as she stays on that story for us. So yesterday, the death toll from this deadly shooting at the hostel was 7. 2 people were taken to hospital since then. One of those that were taken to the hospital for care has passed away. So the total death toll in the shooting in Glebelands Hostel is now 8.